we humans ever going to have superpowers?
We already have superpowers. All humans have superpowers. It's a matter of each person's superpower may not be the Hollywood superhero images that we see, but there are people that are extremely strong. They're here now. I can feel them here now really strongly. There are people super strong. There are people with extremely high intellect. There are people who can do what I'm doing right now. That's my superpower, they said. There are people that can play music or write music. There are people who, the Olympics, they're showing me, because they showed me swimming. They're saying that there are people whose superpower can be that they're able to teach others. There are people that, so it's not the amazing superpowers like Hollywood. It's the day-to-day superpowers that people have. Their abilities that they don't even look at as being a superpower. They don't realize how amazing everybody is. Everybody has one, they're saying. Everybody has one. And it's just like a hero on these movies, or it's the hero's journey. They're saying you have to discover your own superpower. You might have someone that helps you discover it, but it's something that through time will be revealed. And it's always for the betterment of others. Of course, if you end up being a villain, then you use it to hurt others.
Is the NDE phenomena, which has come to the surface because of our technology, YouTube.
Right.
People are communicating, and if one person has an NDE, then
right.
they tell hundreds others will be triggered by that to
right.
talk about theirs. So what the question is all of this at this time a planned massive undertaking to help us increase global awareness?
Straightforward, they're saying no to that question. They're saying it's an individual's journey. It's an individual's journey if they have that experience. And sharing with others, they're saying it's a wonderful thing. They're not, I say it diminishes it. It's actually just the fact that it always happened.
But we didn't know.
Right, because people weren't connecting across the world to each other. So it's always occurred. So it's not the occurrence of it happening has probably only increased because of the population has increased as well. So proportion of, and that it's not anything like there's not more people. It's not happening to more people. It's just more people are aware and they're able to share it. not happening to a higher proportion of people. Do you have any follow-up on that one too?
Yeah, one thing is, so many people aren't remembering until
Okay.
they have a trigger with somebody else.
Right.
And then they remember. So what you're saying is that it's been going on
Yes.
forever, but we never remembered it.
Right. They're saying part of
very seldom
did people remember. Not remembering is a protection.
Yeah, 'cause who'd want to be here?
It's a it's a protection mechanism. It's a protection mechanism. It's also the fact that sometimes those people would, the person that went to heaven would be completely different when they came back. Sometimes they'd be joined by another spirit. Sometimes they would come back and they were a different person. In the case of walk-ins. So you have differing situations that would occur. And not remembering is sometimes protection for that soul, for that spirit that comes back.
That would be worse to remember and come back here and have to stay.
Well, normally when they come back, they know they're here for a reason.
Yeah. But so many of them have some pretty intense depression after that.
Well,
because of that reason.
Because they remember.
They do remember,
yeah.
And they're separate again.
Right.
Even though they're elevated in their awareness.
But once you're just connected, once you're reconnected, you can go anywhere. You're not trapped at all. Not trapped on this planet. So they're saying no disappointing looks, Gail.
What?
They're saying no. They don't want you to be
Yeah, I was just thinking, don't give me an NDE because I will be one of kicking and screaming and I won't come back.
They're saying they don't want you to be depressed at all. They worry about that. No, they don't want you to have anxiety. They really hopefully want people to be uplifted. And they know that it's hard to maintain that all the time. It's hard. And
it's not humanly possible.
Not all the time, no. But you can get there. You can get there. But it's very difficult when the physical world brings you back. When the physical needs and of others, the physical needs of yourself draw you back into reality, draw you back to, and you can't, just know that it's not endless. Not endless. You can't, there's no worries that need to be had. There's no worries. Just enjoy it. Enjoy while you're here. Do what you want to do. Do what you want to do to help. If you want to help others, then do that. If you want to improve your mind, your spirit, so that you don't want to come back here. Because that can be a big one. Really, they said before, and they're saying it now, a big part of why there are so many people here is because they do pass and then they don't want to go to a different world. They don't want to stay in spirit. They want to come back to the earth, whether it's because their loved ones are here or because, right? Because think about that, because they want their grandchildren or great grandchildren, they want to interact with them. They want to interact with their friend. They want to interact with their friend's children. Their friend decides to come back. Oh, well, then I'm coming back.
Well, there's no time in heaven,
Right.
so I think you could do both. I never noticed.
What? You could do both, which?
Be with your grandchildren while you're in heaven.
Well, you can visit, certainly.
Yeah, but that's all you want to do with grandkids, right? I mean, you've got to give them back to their mama.
Telling me they're trying to be as concise tonight as possible.
Yes. This question is synchronicity. Why does there seem to be so much more evil now? Where is it coming from?
Oh. Okay, this is a good question. In fact, today, this is a question that was answered earlier to somebody else. Similar question. Oh. Okay. I want to make sure I get this the way they want it to be said. Okay, there isn't. You asked, why is there more evil?
Why does there seem to be so much more evil now?
Okay.
And where is it coming from?
Okay, it is part of we people get what they look for, what they pay attention to. And there is so much evil and negative energy being projected on those airwaves that you talked about earlier. There's so much there's such a high belief in evil. And there's a belief in demons. There's a belief that everyone's out to get somebody, out to get you, out to get the other person. So when all that energy goes out into the world, then that energy convalesces. Convalesces, I don't know if that's the right word. I don't think so. Congeals, maybe? Is this the right word? And becomes, collects in an area. And there are spirits, they're going off on a tangent, sort of sideways. I'm going sideways. So I have to get straight back up again, is what they're telling me. Basically, they want me to talk about the question of demons first. There are beings that are called demons that are truly non-humanoid entities, interdimensional entities that are still beings. They're beings. And so many people go looking for those, whether it's on a ghost hunt, whatever it is. There's so many people looking for them and believing in them. And so it's giving power to them. It's giving energy out. And they're just kind of they're saying there really isn't more evil out there in the world. That's the bottom line answer, is that there really isn't more evil. They're saying it's a similar question, similar answer, they want to say, as the other question. There isn't really more of anything happening. It is just, there are so many more people and there's so much communication that all that information is shared. So the evil has always been there. There's always been evil. There's always evil people. Evil people. When people see dark spirits, they see dark shadows or something like that, or it's generally a person that's evil, that passed and wanted to stay here to be miserable to everybody here, wanted to just torture and terrorize a living person or living people, and wanted to collect energy to themselves. And they just become darker and darker because they don't want to go to the light, and they're afraid they're going to be punished if they go to the light, or they're going to be punished and they're going to be sent to hell, and they don't want either one. So they're just going to stay and be miserable. And just like trance channeling, just like overshadowing, just like giving a reading, a mediumship reading, and having a deceased loved one's energy come close to the medium, if there is something evil out there, whether it's non-human entity or whether it's a human evil, and it's past, it can also come close. It could possibly be, inside. It could also become part of that person's energy. But the other thing they wanted to say was that all of those energies, all of those beings have to follow the rules. Because every person, all of us, everybody in the world is the person in control. So that's why exorcisms work, because there have to be enough people either believing they're helping you, and then you have to release it. But an exorcism wouldn't work if there weren't rules.
Follow-ups. I'd like to know whose rules.
Whose rules? Creator's rules.
Okay, thank you.
Rules. The rules, just the rules that each person is an individual. Each person is each spirit, each soul that inhabits a living being, each soul that doesn't inhabit a living being, follows certain rules. There are certain rules, maybe is the wrong thing. Boundaries, instructions, I don't know what the word is, the exact word that needs to be said at this time, but rules is the closest thing. Standard operating procedure. That's what they're saying. It's basically, it's just like what they said the last time. If you look at it as a big computer, there's programs and there are standard operating procedures. And there are, orders. This is here, and this has to follow this, and that has to do that. It's basically a set of instructions or guidelines that is happening. I got very good confirmations on guidelines. That's what they're saying. That's a good word for it. There are a set of guidelines that are set. And
that sounds better than rules.
And they're saying that's so that's why things work. That's why spiritual healing works. That's why prayer works. That's why exorcisms work or don't work. That's why the law of attraction works or doesn't work. It depends on the person. That's why anything exists. That's why, birth is a certain amount of time. That's how the DNA, it's a blueprint. That's even a better word, maybe, partially a better word. They're saying there's a blueprint and things follow it based on, and this is kind of off on a tangent here, but they're saying based on what occurs in the environment can sometimes change that blueprint. Can sometimes there are adjustments that can be made. And this, of course, hires that person, each unique spirit, soul is ultimately responsible for themselves and has unlimited power, unlimited love, and unlimited responsibility for themselves. So putting responsibility on others doesn't work. Things can happen, things can occur, but it's not ultimately the way you deal with it is your responsibility.
Okay. The next question is, what is the function of the Flat Earth Society? In this time, I suppose.
What is the function?
Is,
To give options.
Well, maybe Christy knows something about it.
Well, to provide options. They understand what the flat earth theory is. They understand it. They're saying there's always.
What is it?
It's a belief that we are not on a round circular, well, it is round, but they're saying a ball-like earth. Instead, it would be the belief that we are on a flat, round circle instead of being round this way.
What's the benefit to anybody with that?
Just again, they're saying they're going back to the first question, going back to those other questions again. It's the camaraderie. What's the advantage of trying to convince other people? It's so you're not alone in your beliefs. They can believe what they want to believe because there was a belief, or is still a belief, many years ago that the earth was flat and that it was not just in the mainstream. Yes, the mainstream also believed it was flat. It's the idea, though, that they're saying the idea of the flat earth, they want me to come back to that. They're showing me an image, and I think it's almost like, I don't know whether there's a turtle.
Yeah.
And there's 4 elephants.
Yeah.
4 elephants, and the earth is on top of the 4 elements, I believe. 4 elephants, excuse me. Right. And that is a flat earth, too. That's like from,
That's what I was thinking. If you have a flat plane, all you got to do is curl it up and then you have a circle.
yes, is that your question. They want to go back to the question. If you can say it again. Just
What
what's
is the function of the Flat Earth Society?
yes.
That
It is
question?
to gather more people so that they're not alone in their thinking. So the function is to have more people believe, to try to get more people to believe in something, to believe in the same thing they're believing in. That's the function of it. If that's the best way that they can answer that question.
Isn't that the function of a cult?
It's a function
That's
of.
what I was exactly thinking. We were communing there, Debbie.
Well,
That's
no,
crazy.
they're saying that is the function of society. That is a function of all societies. It's a function of all countries. It's a function of all states. It's a function of all cities. It's a function of all families. Right? Of all relationships.
But does anybody want to be told what to think or what to do? Why can't we just have it without somebody judging somebody else for not believing the same? It's the same thing as religion.
Yeah,
we do. What? And that's why we're here.
That was good. She has more to say, but she's not saying it.
What?
Debbie, you have more to say.
To work with people to use their own minds, use their own consciousness, and not fall into the traps of cults or following the leader, basically.
Without thinking for themselves.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we have guidance that comes through and helps us navigate.
Right.
Our path. And if more people were to tap into
their higher,
then you wouldn't need all of these external programming.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. May I say something?
Yeah.
I think there's a piece of that, Deb, that we are trained to comply and not be free thinkers, I guess you could say. Not we're taught more obedience than we are exploration.
They have something to say about that too.
Okay.
Did you, Debbie, did you have something first?
I was going to say, yes, that's the way we were brought up.
Yes.
Basically, do as I say and not as I do type thing.
Yeah.
Stay in the box.
And and to
not outside of it.
And to comply.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying that is part of the powers that be, that those factions that they talked about, those groups of people have different agendas that they talked about last time, is that idea of let's keep the workers, is the word they're saying, the slaves, let's keep them not thinking, Let's keep them not connecting. Let's keep them compliant. Let's keep them drugged. Let's keep them tired. Let's keep them confused. They're saying several words. It's that idea. They're saying that is part of the. Really? Okay. I'm sorry. I'm questioning. No, I'm questioning what they're about to say. That's.
Step aside.
It's part of. I don't. What did they? It's part of the standard operating procedure.
Yeah.
It's part of the guidelines, because if everyone were free thinkers, if everyone thought for themselves, and they want me to add something to this. If everyone thought for themselves, the planet wouldn't stay where it is right now in this energy. It goes back to what they said again the last time. It would move into another dimension. It would be changed. And
there, be elevated.
Right, it would be elevated. And so they want the majority of people. And even though they're saying, yes, the S.O.P is the rules, the S.O.P is what is put in place. But they're saying this S.O.P that was put in place on this planet was put in place by an agreement that was made by by many. So it was put in, and I got really strong confirmation with that one. It was an agreed upon, these are the SOPs. This is what you're allowed to do. This is what you're not allowed to do. This is what this planet is for. This is what this is for. This is what these beings are for. And they're saying it's not that the individual can't get done, can't go to a different location, a different planet, a different dimension where you don't have to deal with all that. You can. It's just, you have to go there. You have to, next lifetime, you have to get to that point where you go there. Or you make a decision to not come back here. You make a decision to go there, they're saying. A lot of people make decisions to come back here to help others. Even those who could go somewhere else will still come back here because this planet is so damn fun, they said. Because there's too many, there's like a huge amount of fun things to do here. There's all of those bad things, all those things that people are saying are evil or hurtful. Sometimes, yes, they can be evil and hurtful, but other times it could be something fun. So they're saying it's a little confusing what they're saying, but I'm hoping it's making some sense, what I'm getting, because they're trying to show me that this earth, being three-dimensional, being a place of bodily function, bodily functions, a place of temptations, a place of physical energy, a physical body. And they're saying things taste good, feel good, look good, are attractive, there's desire, there's all kinds of things here on this planet that you might go to another planet and you don't get to experience. Because in that planet, it might just be quiet. It might just be about blissful energy, just sitting and melding and meditating and just having, if everyone, okay, now they're on a roll here. They've got something to say. I can feel them like heating up inside. It's like, they're like, sometimes people think that what they want is perfection. They think what they want is for everybody to get along. And that's fine. That's not bad, as long as you still have some of the fun stuff to do when you're all getting along. They're saying this planet really is fun. That's what they want to get across. This planet it's always been, because of its duality. It's based in light and dark and all those things. It's based in all those things, good and evil. And it gives every spirit, every soul, that opportunity to feel and taste and have all those emotions and experience everything that's out there to be experienced. And everybody can do what they want to do. It's unfortunate, and it's part of the, I don't know if it's agenda, it's part of the evolution of this planet to have things where everyone can connect with everybody else, and everybody can, share their experiences, and everyone can find groups. And then once you get a few people, it's that more than one of you together, whether it's in Jesus's name or it's in Bell's name, or whether it's in Satan's name, whoever, whether it's in the name of, whoever, this party, this country, that country, whatever it is, it's groups. And those groups are free to experience what they want, to believe what they want to believe. And groups of people together then gather because they have more power, and they can gather more people unto them. They can gather more. And so that's it. All I want to say is that's it. It's about gathering like people together. You have an opportunity to gather with who you want to gather with, and to focus on what you want to focus on.
So who in the end benefits?
You.
The people who feel like they belong. That's the function of the group. I feel like if you belong with this group, you must, if you join a group or form a group.
You may benefit, you may not benefit. It's a matter of the experience. If the person, everybody has to go through, that's the point. There's good and bad. Everybody goes through horrible things in their lifetime. Maybe not everybody. Some people may have a perfect life, but for them, everybody goes through stuff, and
they don't even know it if they do have a perfect life.
No. Most of the time they don't, but why don't they, is what they're saying. They don't because they're not having that opposite experience, so they know when it's exceptionally good.
They were talking about, I think it started out with the flat earth question, and then it kind of evolved into people joining societies to feel a sense of belonging.
Right.
And what I was thinking is that that can be very seductive, like there's all kinds of groups like the Hare Krishnas, Seventh-day Adventist Church, Flat Earth Society, where you can find a little clique of people who think like you do.
Right.
And there's such a comfort in that belonging.
Yes.
But that belonging and that clique or organization also puts you in a container where you cannot explore, and you're kind of stuck in that dogma. Where they serve a purpose,
if you allow it,
it's got a dark side to the purpose also, if you're not careful.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the other thing, when we were discussing, as this discussion evolved, I was thinking when we were talking about different people's lives and how their path goes, is that there are people on earth who in this lifetime, they are just on vacation. And you'll see these people and they'll take the same spiritual classes as you do over the years, but you'll never see the growth in them. It's just like, they're just here to play. And they don't take things too seriously. They don't make a lot of progress. They don't do any harm, but they're just having a life on vacation. And a lot of people are not aware that there are a lot of humans in that category. That after all the lifetimes of service or sacrifice or whatever, sometimes you just need a lifetime of vacation.
Of playing.
What is the Divine Grid programmer?
They are showing me two different things. I will make sure that I don't lose the one. They're saying they've described what the creator of all things is. The creator of everything, both everything that has ever existed, everything that will exist, everything that has existed. That is one part of the person, this being that created the divine grid. The divine grid as they are seeing it are the ley lines upon the planet. That's the other answer they'd like to say. It's the ley lines upon the planet. And in that case, it is the planet and her energy that has created, combined with the energy of the other planets, the solar system, the cosmos, the elements in the earth. But they're just showing me the ley lines. They're showing me ley lines around the planet, a grid that is in the planet that people feel. So I don't know who asked the question, if that person can.
I have a question. Can you first tell me what is the divine grid? Because I'm not familiar with that term, but it sounds pretty familiar. I think I know what it is, but I've not heard that before. So what is it? Divine grid. Is that what you were saying are ley lines? Or is divine grid for the
who created the divine grid?
creation?
If you're talking about like for crystal, there's a couple different things, because they're also showing me it could be a grid pattern upon which crystals are placed for healing. there's a healing divine grid that can be, they're not sure what the question is pertaining to. They're saying there's multiple divine grids.
Chris, do you want to ask? Maybe you could.
Well, the thing is, this phrase, divine grid programmer, shows up from two different sources. Of one who like channeling the Pleiadians, and the other one who is somewhat of an authority on spiritual and galactic information.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never heard a good definition of what the divine grid is. And these people are often referring to the divine grid programmer.
Okay. As far as what they're saying, it's what they said originally. It has to do with all of that. It's the entire cosmos. It is creator creating this, all the planets being in the right places, which is why when you're born and you have a certain astrology, the planets are lined up and that causes the energy to affect you a certain way. That's all part of the divine grid they're sharing. Your name, being able to look it up by, they're saying there's multiple ways to look it up, but one of them being the numerology. There's different aspects. Oh, and they said the reason I got neurology is because even our bodies are divine grids. It's a matter of the macro, micro, and macro. They're saying it's a matter of, I don't know if those are the right opposites, but they're saying it's a matter of something extremely tiny is part of the divine grid, and something that is unimaginably huge is part of the divine grid. And so the ley lines are part of it. It's the energy that's pervasive, that flows, and it's those patterns of the energy flowing. And so being able to tap into it, and Debbie taps into it. Everybody here taps into it. For whether it's healing, whether you call it that, it's tapping into that energy and bringing it, going up, tapping into it.
Source energy.
Source energy.
We are part of the jumper cable.
Right.
Cool.
To keep everything flowing. At least that's what they're showing me. Is what the way they're showing it to me is it's the energy that flows throughout.
So it enables the energy to best passages to get the most efficient thing accomplished.
Yes, and it's part of the planet has a heartbeat. The planet has an energy, so everything has an energy.
We're buddies, me and Gaia.
Yeah. So it's a matter of all of that, every aspect of it. So the programmer, the only programmer they would say is the person who programmed the algorithms, like we said last time, the person who programmed the S.O.P, the agreed upon, the person who didn't program, they're correcting me, did not program that S.O.P. The S.O.P was agreed upon for this planet by beings not at the level of creator.
Are we ready for another question?
I think so.
How are our souls and our pet souls connected? How are events manipulated so that we can find each other?
Find each other here on Earth, or
yes. It would be automatic over there, but here it's a lot more difficult because it'd be you looking, but your pet can't get on the internet looking. So
but
it's all up to you. I'm just gonna have it happen.
they're saying Debbie knows this one, knows the answer to this one, because basically it's they have souls, they have spirits. You make plans, they make plans. You make plans together.
I know, but if they come in with knowing where they came from, I'm pretty sure.
But it's just like Debbie talked about animals. They're saying the animals following just their lives. Following their lives. That's what they're showing me. And the animal will just follow its nature, will do what it's supposed to do, and it will be led where it needs to go.
So if it's wandering, ends up in a kennel in a kill clinic, then something went wrong.
No.
It'll keep coming back.
Nothing went wrong. Nothing went wrong.
When it goes right, who is manipulating the series of events that would bring me to find my grace in wherever I find her, and when you find them,
Creator.
you recognize
it's them. That grid, whatever, it's the energy flow.
Yeah, that's what the divine.
There you go.
Do is get energy done where it needs to go.
It's that energy. It's that flow. So you recognize that animal when it's in front of you. It's just how your children find you. It's how you find other people, how the four of us found each other. It's how you can ask the same question. How do people find each other? A series of events.
Thinking and also being
an energy
when it happens.
Yeah, being able to recognize it. Certainly. It's when you fall in love with somebody. It's that same thing.
I don't remember that.
Series of events that occurs. There's a series of events that led you to Debbie. That led you to
you first.
Yes, but there's a series of events that led people to why do you go look at certain websites? Why did you get to Facebook and look at a certain group?
I have no idea.
No, you don't. And that's the miracle.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.